we've seen. Oh, I haven't showed you my Monopoly build. This isn't just video games. This region is dedicated to any great game, and one great game that, like many people, I grew up playing was Monopoly. So a buddy and I did this build. As you can see, there's the world pyramid, as I call it. And actually, right beside it is a little Monopoly board that a buddy of mine and I built years ago. And I redid it a little bit as new block types came out. Made it a little better. Yeah, this was a fun build to do. It doesn't function. I have seen functional Monopoly boards built in Minecraft. They're pretty cool. But I was just going for a pixel art dedication here. Although, just for funsies. Because Minecraft is all about funsies. I did make a few little things work. For example, Waterworks works. I thought it was necessary. I don't know. Why not? It's just a piston. Now, back when I built this, they didn't have... the only apparatus with which you could control water flow was a piston. So they didn't have hoppers and droppers or any of that stuff. Alright. And of course, I had to make a dedication to a game that I played for many years as a young man. I'm very rusty on it now. But it's the oldest game of all of these that you see here. And that is, once I find it, chess. I built this years ago. This was actually one of the first things that I built in this Minecraft world. And I'll draw your attention to a feature of it in a moment, which may not actually show up here since I adjusted the world height a little bit to build this. I recently went through and redid some of the grass around it. I'm trying to turn this into a natural hill. Another point for another day. Once upon a time, if you stood here and you popped your F3 button, the height for this wouldn't have been 83, because remember, we're on a flat world. When I originally built this in a normal world, before I transported it to this server, it was at exactly the height 132, because back then 256 was not the height of Worldcraft. I've been playing Minecraft since it was in early beta. So back then 132 was the max height, and that king went straight up to max height. So at the time, in other words, this chess set was as tall as it could possibly be, and thus as detailed as it could possibly be given the world height. And given the capabilities that were available back then. But maybe one day I'll do another version of this and go all out and get even better resolution on these. But I'm happy with this one. There's another game underneath this one that a friend of mine built for me as a gift. There's a random chicken hanging out. It's a maze that he built for me. It's sort of challenging. Has multiple levels. And I've always, that's why I built this off the ground a little bit, was to fit the maze in. Years ago, his son decided that it would be fun to spawn a bunch of chickens all over the chess pieces, and so there are still some hanging out. I think it's kind of funny, so I left them. I don't really care. Eventually, as you can see, I'm building a road here. Eventually, I'm going to do something with this. I don't know what. Maybe a tribute to the game Rad Racer. An old 8-bit NES racing game. That would be fitting. Anyway, that's that. Those are my gaming galleries thus far. There are a lot of other things in this world that I'll show you, but this is still a work in progress. It'll never be completed. I'll keep adding more stuff to it. And in fact, I'm always taking requests from people. Several of these builds have been done at a request. For example, up here in the Squaresoft gallery, I had originally built the Chrono Trigger characters, and these three over here who are enemies in the game, Ozzy, Slash, and Flea. Yes, it's a reference to Great Rock Artist as well. Those three characters were built at the request of some friends of mine who really like those characters. So I built them and sent them pics of the builds. Offered to send them the World Edit schematics as well, but they didn't need them. So yeah, I love taking requests a lot, and as people will say, "Hey, build this character," and I had totally forgotten about that character. And so part of the challenge sometimes, if it's a more obscure character, might be finding a really good, clear image to follow off the internet. But usually if you look hard enough, you can find it. Some of these builds were kind of tough because of that, and I had to use 2 or 3 different images and sort of match them up to get the different parts. Most of the time, for major characters like Sonic or Mario or Chrono, for example, it's pretty easy to find those. Anyway, that's that. That's just a taste of some of my creative world and what I've been working on. Next up, I think I'll show you some more of my pixel art, and maybe from there we could go and look at maybe the city that I'm working on. Anyway, until then, have a great day and have happy Minecrafting.